just how it goes. Other ones, it'll be a little bit more like put together. I don't ever pretend to have it all figured out, but we are going to have a blast. You'll probably hear my piggy pie honking in the background. That's like her favorite thing to do, is come into the frame when I go live. So you might get to see her. All right, so let's kick off this August 2023 podcast Power Up Roundup. And let's just kind of look over what were the podcast topics for August. So we kicked off August with hearing the whispers of your heart. And this episode was about hearing those emotional calls from yourself and those around you. And so one thing that I want to really talk about with this, and something that's kind of been going on in my mind, and it'll more than likely be a full podcast episode coming up, but it really dawned on me the other day that you only have 100% battery pack. Now, I've taught this since 2012, so for 11 straight years. So this isn't a new concept. So you have a battery, right? And you have 100% of that battery. And as you give of yourself, that battery percentage is going down, right? All of those that concept has been something, like I said, that I've taught since 2012. But one thing that really dawned on me the other day was you only have 100% battery for every area of your life. Okay. It doesn't matter what area it is. It's a 100% battery. And then you have all these lines off this battery from all the areas of your life. So if you give 75% to your business or work, your career, or if you're a stay-at-home mom and you give 75% of that battery life that you have to being a mom and running the house, then you're only going to have 25% for yourself, for your partner, and for your career if you're a stay-at-home mom. If you're doing it towards your career, your business, then you only have 25% as a mom for yourself and as a wife. And so I want to bring this to you because the emotional call from yourself is like, hey, this is what I have to give. This is what I have left. And if you're not paying attention to that, you're just going to be giving and giving and giving and giving and giving all over in these different places in your life. And you're not actually going to be giving what you think you're giving. You're not going to be showing up in the energy that you think you're showing up in. So it's really important to look at this 100% battery that you have and see, my hair's bugging me, so I'm going to fix it while I talk to you, and see where you're giving the majority of that in, right? Or to. And here's the thing, and this is something that my husband Daniel brought up, and that's you don't always start every day with 100%. So you might think that you have 100% to give, but you don't if you don't start that way. And the only way you know whether or not you start that way is if you assess that when your day starts, if you assess that as your day goes, right? So when was the last time you looked at how much battery you're starting your day with? How much battery you're at as you get, let's say, halfway through your day? Whoa, I thought my Instagram was going to fall. Hold on. You guys, I have so much shit going on right now. I don't even know how I make it through the fucking lives I do with all the screens. Anyways, you got to look at and analyze throughout your day when your day starts how much you actually have to give in the whole day. So let's say your day starts at 25%. Well, that's 25% to yourself, to your partner, to your kids, and to your career/business. You break that 25% down, that's like what? 8.25% to give to each of those things. Well, if you look at what 8.25% is, it's not very much, is it? So you go through life expecting yourself to give 100% all the time in all the areas when you only have 100% to give total in all the areas. You don't have 500%, you have 100%. Yeah. So if you only have 100%, and you're expecting yourself to give 100% in each of the areas, it can't happen, one. And two, if you don't start at 100%, but you are expecting to give 100% in each of the areas, you will always let yourself down, and you will always feel like you're letting everyone around you down because you're not giving all that you feel like you should be giving. But the truth is, you didn't even have it to give. So in the Emotional Calls episode that dropped on August 3rd, First and foremost, you want to be paying attention to the emotional calls from yourself. What is yourself saying? What is yourself needing? And you can find that in your energy. So let's see. It was Friday. I was like, hey, I just gave 75% of my power to my journal workbook that I'm creating. But I'm still going on a date with Daniel, right? And whatever is going to happen the rest of the evening, and what do the kids need from me? And this is when it really dawned on me that I only had 25% to give. Well, I also realized that if I were to have stayed home and not gone on the date, that percentage automatically starts going down as well. And then as the night goes on, I have a less and less percentage, even if I'm just watching TV, right? So one thing that I was thinking about is, what is ways that I can increase my battery percentage that I have when I'm at that transition point? So one thing that I thought about was, well, if I go on this date, I'm going to be in a fun environment. I'm going to eat some food that I like, great conversation. That's going to increase my battery power as long as that energy is good, right? If there's a disagreement, or I'm having to explain myself over and over, or there's a misunderstanding or miscommunication, that's going to deplete that 25%. So out of that date, we're not going to have a lot left. So for me, I'm going to decide in the future, am I going to go on this date? Am I not going to go on this date? Depending on what my energy is like, let's say in my relationship. If my energy in my relationship feels really off, I need to be mindful that this date could take the rest of the 25% that I have to give for that day. And if it does, being aware of what my emotional state is and what my soul is needing, I can recharge that when I get back home. It could be a meditation, it could be a journal, it could be a 20-minute decompress, right? It could be listen to a motiversity on YouTube or my astrology forecast. It could be reading my astrology book. It could be cuddling with my pig. It could be giving my dog loves. It could be taking a bath. It's like whatever that is to recharge that battery to make it through the rest of the night, to give to the kids, to give to myself, right? So what are your emotional calls? What is your soul saying that it needs? And then what are the emotional calls from those around you? This is what this episode is all about. And I didn't talk about any of that in the episode. So if you haven't listened to it, soulfirepodcast.com, that is episode 15. Then we went into from longing to denial. And this was all about why, let's see, this is all about how you go through life asking for all the things you want with power and conviction. And then when it shows up, you deny yourself of having what you wanted. So in this episode, we talked about why you're doing that and how to shift through that so that you can have all that you desire. So this episode was all about constantly asking for things that we want. And then when it shows up, we say no, we don't pay attention, we ignore it. It's a whatever, but like it was something that you wanted so much. It was something that you said was so important to you. And then when it got here, you did nothing about it. You didn't even accept it. You didn't even welcome it. You just ignored the fact that you had asked for it. Here's the thing about going through life asking for things that you want with power and conviction. When it shows up, it may not look exactly the way that you thought that you thought it would, or how you wanted it to. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, when it shows up and it looks different, why does it look different? Is there a lesson that you need to learn? Is there growth that has to happen in order for you to have it in its full fruition? Is there things that you need to do in order for that you truly want to look the way that you want it to look, right? You don't deny it because it doesn't look the way that you want it to look. You say, what is it that I need to learn from this? What is the message that's really coming to me that I really need to pay attention to, that I really need to get from this in order to get the best result from that, right? So in episode 15, from longing to denial, the other part of that is going, in what other areas of my life do I deny the things that make me feel good? Do I deny the things that give my soul fire, my soul life, my soul energy, that light me up, that make me happy, that charge my battery? Where in my life am I denying so many of these things that I truly desire, and why? Is it because you don't think you deserve it? Is it because you feel like you have to do things to earn it before you can have it? Is it because you constantly go into this mentality of someone or, somebody deserves it more than you, what's happening? What is that breakdown in you that says, I really do want this. I long for this, but I'm not giving it to myself because of these denied reasons that I feel are legitimate. But when you say those to someone else, they're like, that doesn't make any sense. You deserve it because blah, 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 blah. And then you go, well, no, because so and so, no, because this. Well, that just makes me feel guilty, right? This is a perfect opportunity from your power and conviction of wanting something to denying yourself of that something to figure out what that gap is inside of you and the why you don't deserve what it is that you say that you want, that you long for, and why you constantly make it to where your desires, your wants, your soul conviction, that soul power is never enough compared to someone else. It's such a huge, huge, huge place to dig and work to do. Now, I do have a journal that I'm working on right now. It's the Journey of the Soul journal, which is no mistake that is the name of this season, right? It's the theme of this season of the podcast, Journey of the Soul, right? And this journal I have been working so hard on this past weekend. I don't know, I probably put 15 hours into this journal, and it's been a lot of work. It's definitely a labor of love. If you don't know this about me, I absolutely hate tedious things, and design work is highly tedious. It is highly tedious, like moving shit so that it's centered, justified, and fucking copying, pasting shit, and making sure that it's all right and changing colors. Oh my God. Like the design layout, I love that shit all day long. But then when you sit here and do all the tedious work, ooh, it drives me crazy. But this is my baby, and I am doing the work, and I am enjoying the journey of this part of my soul. This journal workbook is all about charting the course of your soul and stepping into that inner discovery, right? And those things within your soul, those changes within your soul, the growth within your soul that you've been missing. It's beautiful, this journal, and where it comes from, the work you do. And the reason why I'm sharing it with you right now, it's not even available on pre-sale or anything like that. So I'm not sharing this with you to sell you. I'm sharing this with you to say, I created this workbook as the deeper work of these gaps of like longing for something, wanting something, just feeling it in your soul and then denying it when it gets here. This journal is to help you work through those points and those gaps that you have so that you can grow through and shift through. So that's my whole point. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm so excited. If you want to follow along on the process, make sure that you like the Soulfire podcast page. You can add me as a friend on Facebook. I do have 2 profiles. One has my first and last name and it says friends and family. And then the other one is my business profile. So just make sure that you are following the business profile. The business profile also has my podcast episodes that I drop. And that is the podcast that's every Thursday at 9 a.m. Then on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is this session, is the podcast Power Up. And then on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern is the POWERfuel and Preachisms. So that's what you'll see on that banner. And that is my business profile. Moving along inside of our August roundup and podcast episodes that I did a whole episode on August 24th. It is episode 16 on Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde ends on September 15th. That's when the post shadow ends. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, it will help make sense of a lot that's gone on and probably some craziness that's going to happen this week as we just wrap up this retrograde in Virgo that has been cray cray. So the pre-shadow kicked my ass. Then when Mercury went retrograde, I felt some reprieve. And now that this post shadow is here through the 15th, I'm just feeling free and like excited, and my brain is on fire. So for me, that pre-shadow was the emotional detriment roller coaster bullshit of communication and life and emotions. And then it has gotten lighter, lighter, and better as this retrograde has gone on. But depending on you and where this is in your chart and what's going on in your chart and all those sorts of things astrologically, that pre-shadow might not have touched you. The retrograde might have started ramping up, and then the post shadow, which is right now, could be your ass kicker. It just depends on where that all lands. And then on August 31st, we wrapped up the month with feeling alone with people all around you. All right. We go through life and we're feeling like we're a burden to others, or like they are sick of hearing our sob story about the shit that we're going through. And the truth is, it's about how you show up that depicts how they treat you about it all. So in this episode, which is episode 17 of the podcast, we talk about my journey over the last 5 months and what I learned about shutting people out and what to do instead. So I've definitely been still processing since this episode on August 31st. Today's September 11th. I also want to take a second. I just remembered that it's September 11th. I don't do a lot with dates when I'm live. To just send love, light, peace, and strength to everyone who has lost someone in, the Twin Towers and everything that happened there. So I'm sending that out to you, sending so much love and so many blessings and just peace for your heart on this day and at this time. With feeling alone with people all around you, most times we create that energy. See, I told you she was going to show up. In just a second, she's going to be right here. Oh, after my dog with her diaper moves. Here she comes. Come say hi to the people. I don't even know if everyone can see her, but there she is. Lula the pissed off piggy pie.
Hi. You saying hi to the people?
She's funny. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. Sorry, Instagram, you don't get to see her. You create that alone feeling, right? You decide that nobody wants to deal with what you're going through, that you don't want to burden people, that everybody has their own life, that everybody has their own shit, and you decide that you don't want to burden people with what you're going through. And the truth is you take away that opportunity for them to be there for you when they love you so much, when they want that for you. Hi, Helen. And when they want to be there for you, when they want to show up for you, you take that away from them, believing that you're a burden to them and believing that what you're going through is like, lesser than what they're going through and all of these things. And so this is where I say you always say no for them before they have a chance to say yes to themselves or before they have a chance to say yes to you. It's like, why don't you deserve the same or better love and support than what you give? Why don't you deserve to feel the love from the people around you and how they feel about you and how they want to show up for you and what they want to give to you? Why is it that you put yourself in these positions to get the short end of the stick and not feel the way that you show up for other people to feel? Why do you do that? And why do you create that energy so that when you look around, you feel alone with people around you and you go, I don't know why this is. I don't know why I have all these people around me and I feel so alone. Well, you have all these people around you and you feel so alone because you created an energy that what you're going through, what you're dealing with, one, you don't want to burden them with. Two, being vulnerable is very uncomfortable for you. Three, when you get to those states, maybe you feel like you're going to get stuck. Or four, crying and feeling vulnerability is foreign to you. So maybe it's not uncomfortable, but it's foreign. Maybe you don't understand it or you deny it because when you feel those feelings, it just doesn't feel right? It's a disconnection, right? And so when those things are coming up, and those feelings are coming up, you're shutting it down for everyone else. But when those people show up in your life, you don't think it's weird that they're being vulnerable. You love that. You don't think it's weird or bad that they're crying. You know that that's a release for them and it's good to shed those tears. See, I call this being unfair to yourself or having unfair expectations of yourself, while with everybody else around you, you give them grace and you hold them up and you show up for them. So I really feel like August was a big theme of, why is it okay for everyone else and for you it's not? Why do you deny yourself? Why do you put yourself in feeling guilty? Why is it that you don't deserve what you feel like everybody else deserves? Where did that come from? When did it show up? Why is it still here? And why have you done nothing to release it? That's what being in my world is all about. That's what Soul Healing Zone is all about. That's what the Soul Fire podcast is all about. That's why I do my soul camps and my retreats. Every single thing that I do is about how you are so unfair to yourself and how you don't really show up for yourself, but you do that for other people. And then you look around and you have this confusion of why you feel the way that you feel when you're the one that does it. It's not the people around you that is doing it. It's your actions, the way you show up. It's your lack of standards. It's your lack of boundaries. It's your lack of self-love, self-compassion, self-respect. being self-aware, being, emotionally intelligent inside your soul. It's those things that are missing for you that you need to do for you that's causing that. And when you step forward in, especially my world, in one of my soul camps or my retreats, or maybe you move forward into my soul shift program or my soul shift activate, or maybe you're going to step and do even more, one-on-one higher level mastermind work in my Ignite program. It's like when you step forward in any or one of those areas, you're going to start doing the work in these areas that we're talking about here and healing those parts of you. But when you just sit back and you make excuses and you tell stories and you're going to do it on your own and you've got this and you're doing this and you're doing that, but you're not really moving anywhere, that's what's keeping you stuck. I'm all about radical change, moving fast, big steps, right? Leaps and bounds. I always say, think bolder, think bigger, be bolder, make no excuses, right? I'm all about that. I'm not a fan of baby steps and moving a little bit and doing a little work here, a little work there, because one, it takes forever to get the result. Two, you won't stay consistent, keep going because you get bored, make excuses, and life happens. And three, you don't see a powerful shift enough to feel like it's worth the effort that you're making. So there's so many places that you can connect with me. I highly recommend that you go to soulfirepodcast.com because that hubs you to my Soul Healing Zone store. That hubs you to getting registered for my most recent soul camp or retreat, the one that's coming up. That's going to link you to the journal workbook when it comes out. But following me on Facebook and YouTube and those places as well, everything will be posted everywhere. I do have freebies for you at soulfirepodcast.com. If you just click up at the top, I don't even know what you click at the top. So let me go look really quick. It's so weird. My brain just deletes information. Like if I've worked on the page and the page is complete, my brain goes, okay, it's done, on to the next, So if you go to the top of soulfirepodcast.com and you click on media and then you go to downloads, you're going to find all the free stuff I have for you. So soulfirepodcast.com, media at the top, go to downloads. I have a Kick Your Procrastination workbook. I have in my OOI, which is Order of Importance to the Third Power, ideas for date, family, and me days. I have recommended reading list for you. 3 easy to implement steps to organize your life free ebook, How to Stop Spiraling, 52 journal prompts. All that's available at soulfirepodcast.com. You click on media at the top, and then you just scroll down to the bottom, and you can put your email address in for access to that. So with all that being said, if you want to do that, you can get access to all the freebies, and all you have to do is sign up once. And then on the thank you page, you get access to everything. So you don't have to sign up for each of those separately. You just sign up once and then you get access to all of those. All right. So, we do have the Soul's Compass retreat coming up. It's all about embracing your truth and finding inner peace. If you go to retreat.thesoulhealingzone.com, again, that's retreat.thesoulhealingzone.com, you can sign up for this free retreat. It's a 1-day retreat. You'll have a limited amount of time for replay, but if you want lifetime access to the replay plus a free one-on-one session with me, you can just do the upgrade. It's $27. So it's not, crazy expensive, but it will double as we get to the day of the retreat. So you want to get in on the front end so that you get in at the lowest price. So again, that's retreat.thesoulhealingzone.com. You can go to soulfirepodcast.com, click media at the top, go to downloads for those freebies, those downloads for you there. Make sure you catch up on August episodes. They were phenomenal. The September episodes are amazing as well. So for September, we kicked off with the astrology forecast for the month of September plus horoscopes and the misconception of compassion and this whole thing that I went through and how I came up with the Webster dictionary definition of compassion. And then my mind went on this whole rabbit hole of amazing fucking content for this episode. So the misconception of compassion was so awesome. And then this week we have a new episode coming out on the podcast. As you know, every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern is a brand new podcast episode drop. I'm getting ready to log in and get you what the title of that episode is. If you text the word soul to the number 41372, again, soul to the number 41372, you will get a text every week when the new episode of the podcast drops. But this week's episode is the narcissist nemesis, embracing your truth. Whew, I loved recording this episode. It came to me. It was so fucking powerful. So that drops Thursday, September 14th at 9 a.m. Eastern. You guys, I am here Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern, most Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursdays at 9 a.m. is when the podcast episode drops. If I am not here on a Monday or Wednesday, I'm just on vacation, or maybe I'm at a speaking event or something like that. And that's why I wasn't here live, or maybe that was my retreat day or a soul camp day. There's usually something else going on, but I also don't do any lives if I am on vacation and out with my family. I just take that time off. So just know that. And I will do my best to pin the live schedules, or make sure that in the Heal Your Soul Facebook group, those events are correct, so you know exactly when I will be live each month and all of that good stuff. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to the amazing fourth quarter that is coming up here at Soul Healing Zone and the Soul Fire podcast. Remember to say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. It's always about progress, not perfection. And always give yourself grace, because on your journey of life, on your soul journey, it's all about being gentle with yourself and realizing that you're doing the best you can. So with that, we will see you next time.